Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm Charlotte. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you're having a lovely day. I do lots of makeup and beauty content, lots of hauls and palette reviews on this channel, so that's the sort of stuff you like. Don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. So for today's video I'm going to be playing with the new-ish Morphe 35D Desert Bouquet palette, and it's absolutely beautiful. This retails for £25, and it was released, I don't know, a few weeks ago. But as soon as I saw the picture of this on Trendmood, I was like, oh, that colour scheme looks like a bit of me. So let's open it up for you. It comes with a little plastic sheet here, and then this is what the inside looks like. I have swatched a few of these shades before, but I love the whole, then you've got greens, yellows, more warm colours, more of your neutral colours. There's a good mix of mattes and shimmers in here. And this palette, just the whole colour story really stood out to me, and it looks so versatile. So keep watching if you want to see some swatches and a little look and a review at this palette. So I've just watched the first 3 columns. You see them all there. The mattes swatched pretty well. So it's the pale yellow and this pale nudie shade here didn't swatch the best. Felt a little bit powdery, but I'm sure they'll be okay. The shimmers though, I feel like especially this one and this one in particular, so that is Big Saguaro and Plant Mom, you kind of feel more like glittery toppers than actual shimmers. These are more like shimmer shadows, but these feel more like glittery toppers. So here are the next 2 columns swatched. Those 2 first shimmers are so beautiful. Such a metallic. They felt very foily, not gritty, just like a cream. All the mattes swatched very well. I was really surprised with how well some of these brighter, more purple tones swatched. And I really want to do a look with these at some point, and I really need to use that shade. It's also, every time I look at this palette I think of something else to do and something else, some other colour story, Just look at the reflect on them though. Then here we have the last 2 columns. This shade Cacti I Love You, it feels like, I was saying before, but the like glittery topper, that kind of felt like the same. And this one here is a shimmer, but it's very, what do you call it, very faint. It's called Agave My Heart. You can barely see that's shimmery. This is more like the deepening shades, I'd say, for the palette. So I've just started by priming my eyes with a little bit of the P. Louise base in the shade 0.5. With this palette I want to go in with some more of the greens and the oranges and yellows. So I'm going to grab a PC38 in the shade All Sun, and I'm going to pack that on the first third of my lid. I feel like for yellow that's applied really well, it's quite pigmented. So next I'm going to go in with a PC22, and I'm going to use the shade Temp Check, and I'm just going to pack that over the centre part of my eye. So that is an absolutely beautiful colour. It's kind of like a kind of orange, kind of corally, but kind of lighter. It's really pretty. That colour just makes me think of summer. And I've just gone over with a bit of All Sun and tried to blend their shades in together, and I think they've done a pretty good job of melting in together. Another PC22 and the shade Hot Nights, and I'm gonna put that on my outer corners, maybe bring onto my lid a bit. So that is applied and blended very lovely on my lids. It's not as deep as I was expecting it to be. Sorry. So I might apply a slightly deeper, more darker shade to emphasise the corners of my eyes more, because I'm going to be doing a cut crease with this look. But now I'm just going to go through each of my shades, repack them on, and then we're going to go out and blend them with some different colours. So to start to blend out the yellow on my inner corner, I'm going to take a PC47 and the shade High Noon, and I'm just going to gently buff around the edges. I'm now going to take another PC47 and the shade All Sun, and I'm going to use that to start blending out over the top of the corally peachy orange. I'm going to go back in with the shade Temp Check and in Molly O'Brien M012, and then I'm going to blend and kind of bring that back a bit up to my temples. So I'm going to go back in one of the PC22s I used, and I'm going to go in the shade Hot as Ever, and I'm just going to pack that on my inner corner, just at the very edge. So I've just added a little bit more depth to my outer corners. I feel like the shade Temp Check and Hot Nights look really similar, even though they didn't look anything similar in the pan. Once I put them on my eye, I feel like they just kind of mushed into one. I mean, they have blended well together, obviously, but kind of look like a similar shade. Yeah, so I'll go do a half cut crease off camera, and then I'll be back to pop a shimmer on my eyes. So I just popped my cut crease on. For that I used the P. Louise and Mama Mitchell Blank Canvas Acid Rain paint. This is great for doing cut creases. I accidentally smudged a bit on the yellow. So what shimmer? I don't know what shimmer to go in for. Or it's a pinky one. Or maybe that one with a bit of that one. Do I do a green? You know what, I might do a green and see how this turns out. So this is one of the little P. Louise cut crease brushes, and I'm going to pick up the shade Big Saguaro, that's how you say it, and I'm going to start by using this dry. I feel like that's applied really nicely. It's kind of softer, a softer shimmer, but I'm going to wet my brush and see if that makes any difference. That's definitely made it stand out more. It's made the actual green pigment stand out more and look more reflective. I love a green eyeshadow. So next I'm going to take another little flat brush and the shade Plant Mom, and I'm going to use that to blend the green into my deeper outer corner. Again, I'm going to give it a little spritz and then see if that changes the texture of it. And then I'm running again with a bit of the shade, is it Hot as Ever? Just to blend that into the corners even more. So this is the first eye sort of done. I'm going to pop off that camera, do my other eye, do my base, and then be back to do my lower lash line and then round up my final thoughts. Alright, so I'm back and I've finished the rest of my makeup and I've completed one eye. For my base, I'm just done a little video testing out the Barry M Fresh Face collection, so don't forget to check that out, and I'll link it down below if I've already uploaded it. So for my eyes, I kept it quite subtle, my lower lash line, because I didn't want to go too big. I used the Colourpop cream gel liner in the shade Red Rock, and I put that in my lower lash line and my top line. Then got a Molly O'Brien M021. What shade I use? And the shade Hot Nights, and then I ran that really closely along my lower lash line. I got a Morphe M123 and the shade Hot as Ever, and then I put that even closer to my lash line. Next, using a Morphe JH39 and the shade Villa Vibes, I just sprayed a little bit of setting spray on my brush, and then I popped that on my inner corner and then on my brow bone too. And then that is the eye look done. Really like all these colours and all these tones. To me, this sort of colour scheme and look just makes me think of summer. I love warm colours, I love greens, and it's still kind of smoky. I'm a big fan of this eye look. It's one of my favourite ones I've done for a while. I did have a bit of an issue with this one because my eye started watering, and then I managed to get my brush and where my eye was watering, and then I got that on my lid and it started patching up a bit, but that's because of my stupid watery eyes. But yeah, what do we think to this look? Do we like it? Yeah, big fan. I mean, you can probably already guess, But what do I think to this palette? I'm a big fan. I really like this. The shimmers did work better wet, I will say that. They did need to be built up a bit because they weren't like, oh my god, pigment straight away. Some of them were, but some of them weren't. The mattes, I feel like they applied well, they blended well. The only issue with them is there's a bit of kickback in the pan, but it's nothing. I did do my eyes before I did my base, so I feel like with some of these shades you might get a bit of fallout, so... But then, colour story of the palette, like I mentioned earlier on, to me it's like individual palettes, and also the range of things you can do with this, because the range of colours you've got, there's so many looks. I can think of lots of other looks I could create, because you can do like all pink, you can do more deeper darker, you could do an all green, or you can mix them up because you've got like your greens, oranges, you've got some more warm, you've got your warm neutrals, you've got pinks, you've got cooler neutrals as well. It's got everything. And also Morphe finally putting their names on the actual palette makes it so much easier than putting it on the little silly plastic sheet. I really enjoy this palette. It is similar. I feel like the colour story is similar to the Colourpop Garden Variety palette. I don't own that palette because I like the colour story, but there wasn't enough shades in the palette for me. But this one, I really, really enjoy it. I really like it. So if you are interested in the colour story, I say go for it. I mean, you can wait until Morphe has a sale and get it a little bit cheaper if you still are and are about it. But I think if you do get it, you will enjoy the formula and you will like it, and there's so much you can do with it. I'm just really happy with how this look turned out. I had an idea, but I'm very happy with how I executed my idea, if I do say so myself. My lashes, before I forget, my lashes are the Yasme Cosmetics X Rebecca Cable lashes, but they don't want to stick down on my eyes properly today, which is getting on my nerves. Let me know if you decided to pick this palette up down below. What do you think of the colour stories? Are there too many colours? Is there too many options? Because I know some people, when there are so many different colour options in one palette, they get a little bit overwhelmed and they don't know what to do with it. But I feel like even though there's so many options, it is laid out in a way that makes it easy for the consumer to then look and think, oh, I could do this with it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and also check out my Instagram. My Instagram is Lottie_loves with 2 S's at the end. I'd really appreciate if you go check that out too, and you can see more about what I'm filming, more makeup looks. I tend to do, well, I'm trying to do more creative, but most of that is over down there. And just so you can know a little bit more about me. And I think that's everything. So I hope you all have a lovely day. Enjoy what you're doing, and I will see you next time. Bye.